Hello and good morning, CSI157 Section 841 students from Anne Arundel Community College. This YouTube tutorial video is going to be a recap of some common questions that are coming up from week 1. As you can see here in the middle screen, I actually have a Windows XP VM running, and if you look up in the left hand corner you can clearly see that I am on an Apple Macintosh, or an iMac. So Packet Tracer, which is the software we're using for the course, is not supported on the OS X platform, and so it will not work on Macs. However, if you create a virtual machine, as I've done here, with a Windows operating system, you can then download and install Packet Tracer, which we're going to do right now. So this video assumes that you are logged in to the Cisco Networking Academy site, and you should see the different options that are available to you. And as we talked about on Tuesday night last week, if you come down to the educational resources area so that you can explore resources, you will see that there are a number of folders that are listed here, specifically Packet Tracer. So remember, we're not interested in Packet Tracer version 5.3.3. That's for the previous V4 blueprint. So we're interested in Cisco Packet Tracer 6.0.1. And this is the software from the latest CCNA course curriculum. So when I click on that, it'll bring me into this section here. Now you'll notice that there are a number of distributions for Linux, and there are also some distributions specifically for Ubuntu. I've kind of tinkered with these, and they're very difficult to get set up, requiring multiple intermediate steps to include the installation of Java, the changing of some libraries. So my recommendation is to stick with the Windows version of the software. So again, we're looking for Cisco Packet Tracer 6.0.1, and as we discussed on Tuesday, you want to make sure that you get the tutorial add-on along with it. You can see with no tutorials it's only 54 meg. With tutorials it's about 40 megabytes larger, but we definitely want to make sure that we have those tutorials in case we get stuck. And I'm sorry, this is a tutorial add-on. The one with the tutorials is here. So it's about 150 meg, so it's about 100 meg larger. But you want to make sure you get the one with the tutorials. That way, when you install it, the tutorials are there, so that if you need assistance or you want to learn about additional features within Packet Tracer, that's a possibility. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Packet Tracer for Windows 6.0.1, and then I'm going to click on Download, and it's going to ask me if I want to save this file, so I'll say yes. I want to save that file. And I've created a folder called PKA, and in here I have a folder called Files, and so now I'll create one called Packet Tracer 6.0.1. So now if I go into this file, right, the new folder I just created, there's nothing here, so this is where I'm going to save this executable. As you can see, it downloaded rather fast, and so now I'm going to go ahead and click on that download. And again, we do know where that file is located if we needed to access it individually for whatever reason. Okay. So we're going to let this come up here. Should start up any second now. And as you can see, I have a couple of, I have an Adobe Reader up, and I also have a web browser up with an interesting article on Cisco iOS 15 licensing features, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm going to click Accept. Sure. Okay, we'll let it create, and definitely want a quick launch icon because we'll be using that throughout the semester. And I'm going to click Install. So now while it's installing, one of the questions from Tuesday night was, what's the difference between Packet Tracer 6.0.1 and its predecessor, version 5.3.3? So the Packet Tracer Frequently Asked Questions document outlines at a high level some of the changes and enhancements that have been made to Packet Tracer that are going to make it suitable for our course this semester. The first is support for iOS 15.2 and its licensing methodology. And I'll come over here in just one second to go through the article that's listed here that gives you a little more detail. excuse me, you have enhanced IPv6 support, and this is going to be critical on a number of levels. IPv6 is now tested on the CCNA exam, so it's critical to have access to IPv6 features and functionality via Packet Tracer. It also supports the new devices such as the ISR 1941, 2901, and 2911, terminal server interface, and servers with 2 NIC cards. And that's also important when you're configuring any kind of redundancy from the server perspective. So a quick note, so the ISR, which stands for Integrated Services Router, the 1900, 29, 39, that series is referred to as the ISR G2, or the second generation. The previous generation had an 8 in the second digit, so it would have been 1800, 2800, 3800, and that was the previous series of routers. So it's a very good thing that we've got access in Packet Tracer to some of the latest and greatest Cisco technology that's on the market. Packet Tracer 6.0.1 also supports the Hot Standby Router Protocol, or HSRP, which is a first hop redundancy protocol, and ACL sequence numbers. And again, HSRP is now tested on the CCNA exam along with ACLs. It also provides new capability with Packet Tracer LAN and WAN multi-user servers so that you can create multi-user games and activities. And then finally, it provides new capability with Packet Tracer Bridge to connect real network equipment to Packet Tracer, or to the Packet Tracer environment. And you can also take a look here when you log into the resource area that I'm in over here, and I'll go back there in a second. There's an errata sheet that's posted that also provides additional information. And this error right here is not, you're not going to see that error. I'm seeing that error because of the VMware install. This XP VM is a little old, and so there'll be one more error that should come up after this telling me I don't have access to a specific folder. But again, this is not something that you're going to see. This is because it's my specific VM. So, all right, so that is what the differences are, the major differences anyway, or what's new in Packet Tracer 6.0.1. So I'll come over here and click OK, and I believe there's the VMware error, and that's okay. You're not going to see that, and I'll click OK. So, real quickly, and here is the URL, etherrealmine.com/ios-15-licensing-how-we-work/. And again, Greg Farrow, very, very phenomenal network engineer who I've actually had the opportunity to speak with, talks about the differences in the licensing and how that licensing is going to work. It talks about the advanced feature sets. It talks about the Cisco Licensing Manager. It talks about software activation and configuration guide. So if I was to click on this link here, whoops, it's going to bring me to a page that's not found. It looks like Cisco had moved that page. So, but it talks about the Licensing Manager. It talks about license transfer between 2 or more devices. And so again, very good article. It shows you what the IP base, IP services, and advanced IP services, and what feature set license you need. And over here, so this is the reformation images. These are the feature set licenses that you would need, or the keys that you would need with the universal image to enable those features. So again, a very good article to read, and this is a phenomenal site, and Greg is again an outstanding network engineer. All right, so it says for Packet Tracer skills-based assessment, to use this version of Packet Tracer, please close all browsers and restart. We're not going to do that because I'm just simply going to pull up a Packet Tracer file. So I'll click Finish, and I'm going to have it launch Packet Tracer for us. So while it's doing that, if I back up one, and I'll go back to the main Packet Tracer area, you can see that there's different versions, right? And here is your Packet Tracer 6.0.x errata. So there would be additional information there if you were interested. So I'll come back up one more level. So here's Packet Tracer. Now, we're taking CCNA routing and switching. And so if I click on CCNA routing and switching, you can see that it comes down to Introduction to Networks. And so again, that's the title of our course, and that's the folder that we're most interested in, because that's the curriculum that's germane to our studies. So once I click on that, you can see that there are all kinds of files in here that can be downloaded, specifically student packet tracer source files, right? So these are the packet tracer files that you would use, and you want to download them first, and I'll go ahead and get that started. Those are the files that you would use with packet tracer. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and it's probably going to ask me where do you want to save it. And so let me go up one. So you can see I've already downloaded it, but that's okay. I'll re-download it, and let's replace it. And so now that download is complete. So when I click on this arrow, and I'm in Firefox, I'm using Firefox as my web browser, I did experience some minor problems using Safari. So again, it's a good idea to use Firefox. I haven't run into any issues with Firefox. So I'm going to click on that to open the file, and that should take a couple seconds, and I'm going to need another, let's see, my computer, another window open here. So we'll go to C and PKA. And so for all the PKA files, I'll go ahead and create a new folder. Let's see, we'll call it, we'll call it new PKA files, just so I can demonstrate this. And so then I'll open up that folder, which obviously is empty. I just created it. So then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab the first packet tracer file. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, grab the last packet tracer file, and then just simply drag and drop those into this new folder. And so that's how you would download all of the files at one time. What I'm also going to do later today, actually minutes after this video is complete, is I'm going to upload the entire zip file into the Angel courseware section, so that if you have any issues downloading from the Cisco Networking Academy site, you'll also be able to download from our Angel section as well. Okay, so here come all of the packet tracer documents, or I'm sorry, packet tracer files. And these are the source files. And Cisco Packet Tracer starting up in the background, so as you can see, things are kind of slowing down a little bit here. All right, and so this is Cisco Packet Tracer, right? If you come to Help, and we'll let that continue to copy, if you come up to Help, you can see that you've got a tutorial section, which is also going to open up a window. We'll probably have to give it a couple seconds here. This VM is definitely one of the lower powered VMs on this iMac installation. All right. Let me close those down, close that down. All right, so we've got the source files there. So from Packet Tracer, if you go to the Help, and you click on Tutorials, it's going to open a window for you that we took a look at on Tuesday evening, but the tutorials were not installed. For whatever reason, they're not installed on the class systems. So you want to make sure that you install the tutorials on your home system when you install Packet Tracer. All right, and we're waiting here. Iconify that. Oh, wondering if we've got two versions maybe that started up. Let me kill Packet Tracer there, and let's make sure. And again, I apologize. This is a very, very old VM. All right. Come back to the Networking Academy location. And here is the tutorials page that was opening up in Mozilla Firefox in the background. So I'll get rid of one of these guys because we only need one. And again, here are the tutorials. There's an interface overview. There's a tutorial on options. There's a tutorial on managing your windows. And so again, a very rich and diverse set of tutorials that you can watch at your leisure when you feel you need a little additional assistance with Packet Tracer. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start Packet Tracer back up here. Whoops, and we should have, let's take a look down here on the quick launch bar. We should have a Packet Tracer quick launch icon available to us. And this guy is actually running painfully slow right now. So we'll give it a second here. Oh, there we go. Alright, so there's our Cisco Packet Tracer quick launch icon, although I'm not sure how quick that was. Alright, so let me close this window off here. And Packet Tracer is now going to start back up. And we're also going to want to download one more thing from the Introduction to Networks area. And I'm going to show that here in a second. You got Firefox, everything's kind of starved on CPU and memory right now while Packet Tracer starts back up. So I'm going to go ahead and pause while these things start back up, and we'll pick up here in just one second. You need to download, and you want to make sure that you get the Packet Tracer PKA source files as well. So we definitely want the student Packet Tracer source files, and we're going to get the PKA source files. And those PKA source files are the actual files that we're going to open up. The student Packet Tracer source files are going to be Word documents that are going to provide us information about each of those Packet Tracer activities. And so we'll look at each of those things in turn here. So again, I'm going to click on Download. And it should prompt me to ask if I would like to save the file. Alright, here it is. So I'll click OK. Alright, and so then I'm going to put in here a new folder called, and again, you can name these folders anything you'd wish. And we'll give it a second here while it's thinking. And I'll just call it .pka source files. Whoop. Maybe didn't like the dot, so I'll just put down pka source files. There we go. All right, so I'll save the source files here. And again, I'm going to go ahead and open up a new window. Open up a new folder. So I'll come over here, and as you can see, it'll show that we've successfully downloaded those files. So there are your Packet Tracer PKA source files. I'll click there. And here's the window that I was opening up. All right. And my local disk. Okay, we'll come down here to PKA and PKA source files. Whoops. All right. So let me open PKA source files. All right, so here's the download, right? This is the zip file, so I'm going to list out the details. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the first source file, and then I'm going to come all the way down here and grab the last one, and then just simply drag and drop those into my new folder. And these are the actual files that you're going to open up inside of Packet Tracer, and we're actually going to do that right now. So I'm going to let this complete, and again, I'm going to put this zip file, I'm going to load this zip file into the course content area so that you can download it from there if you run into any issues on the Cisco Networking Academy site. So let's kick Packet Tracer open here. and I'll say File, and you can see they have some samples as well, but we're going to open up one of our PKA files that we've just recently downloaded. And again, this is a very, very slow VM. All right, so here we go. So we're going to go to desktop, or actually let's come over here to my computer. Yeah, all kinds of VMware issues, so I'll go to my computer. And we're looking for the C drive. All right, so there's the C drive, and PKA, and PKA source files. And you'll notice that these all show up because they end in .pka. So we'll go ahead and take troubleshooting default gateway issues. We'll just pick the first one that we can grab. And so I double click on that. And what's going to happen now is Packet Tracer is going to load that source file and this Packet Tracer activity. And this would be from chapter 6 in your book. And it's going to load that into the Packet Tracer window. And so again, we'll give it a second here, and we should see the topology for troubleshooting default gateway issues. Now, it's asking for a user profile. It's okay here if you're not going to save this off. If you're just experimenting, you can simply click Cancel. When we go to turn things in, you're going to want to make sure that you have your name, your email address, and any additional information, and then you would save it with that. So I'll click Cancel here. And so that is how you install Packet Tracer. That's how you download the PKA source files. That's also how you would download the Word documents. And let me, if it doesn't take too long here, let's go ahead and pull up real quickly one of the Word documents that was there. And actually, that might not be doable given the resources that are currently being chewed up. So if I was to click on New PKA Files, I think this is where we moved all the Word documents. So I'll click on that Word document there, 9412, Packet Tracer Skills Integration Challenge. And let's see if Word wants to cooperate here and how quickly this will come up. And while that's doing that, a quick intro to Packet Tracer. So you can see here my links are all green. So if I were to click on the router, right, R1, as I mouse over, you can see that it gives you information regarding the ports, whether the link is up and down, what VLAN is associated with that link, the IP address that is associated with each of those interfaces. It gives you the IPv6 information, and then finally it gives you the MAC address of the interface. And you can see here that it shows you, whoops, that it'll actually show you the virtual interfaces of the VLANs. If I simply click on R1, what's going to happen is it's going to open up a window for R1, and I can see the back of the physical router platform, right? You can actually click on the CLI, and you can see here that the router has booted up. And from chapter 2, this is some of the important information that you need to make note of. It'll tell you about the router platform. It's a 1941, has the K9 image. It'll give you the memory that is currently installed inside of the router. It gives you the serial number, or the processor board ID. Serial number may be a little lower down. And then it gives you some boot up messages that you'll receive. And so if you were to hit enter, you can see now that I'm in user config mode. And so this was also part of chapter 2. And this is where you would start your configuration work. All right, let me pull up Microsoft Word real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and shut Packet Tracer down. Hopefully save some resources. And no, I do not want to save my work. So we'll let that go. We'll get rid of the new PKA files window. All right. And so we'll just end that now. Okay, and then we've got Microsoft Word opening up in the background so that we can take a look at the information that's going to be contained in each of these Word documents. And if you notice, there's a Word document that corresponds to each of the PKA files or the packet tracer activities. And so again, I'm going to make sure that both of those zip files are uploaded to the Angel site so that you can then pull them down in case you run into any issues on the Networking Academy site. And so hopefully Word is going to come up with an article here or the instruction set for this PKA that we've selected. And we'll give it some time. And I'll go ahead and pause just to make sure we don't sit here for a couple minutes. So I'll be right back as soon as it comes up. Okay, and as you can see, I actually switched files. This is a much smaller file. So switch files to 9147. But again, this Word document, it'll describe the topology for you. It'll show you the connections that exist. It'll even give you an addressing table, right? So that if you were to print this up and you wanted to do your configurations, you could annotate the configurations in there. You could also just type in here if you wanted to put in whatever the 192.168.1.11 or 111, right? So you could save it off there. And it goes over the objectives. It talks through what needs to be done. And up in this case, you can see they want you to use 172s, it looks like, for some things, right? All right, and so that's what the Word documents will give you. Okay, again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this clarifies some of the questions that have been asked. And I am running VMware Fusion, as you can see up here, all right, on my Mac, and that's where I've got my Windows installation. Be sure to use the student download area to download any software that you need, VMware as well as Windows, in order to make this happen. All right, I will see everyone on Tuesday evening, and enjoy the Super Bowl.